which means it's time for business with Marcus Carlson.
Hi there, Melissa. Yes, we're going to move on to those jobless figures in just a moment, but we're going to start, though, with stocks in emerging markets. They've had their worst day in 5 months. The weakness comes on continued concerns over slowing growth in China, a looming financial crisis in Argentina and political risks in Turkey. It's not only about stocks, this story. Currencies in emerging markets, they've also been in the spotlight in the past week. The Argentinian peso, the Russian ruble, the South African rand have all been trading down against the dollar in the past 7 days or so. The Turkish lira as well has come under pressure, but it snapped back against the dollar on Monday as the Turkish central bank announced that it would hold an emergency meeting on Tuesday. That announcement is fueling speculation that the central bank will take action to stabilize the lira. Delana D'Souza has more.
Under mounting pressure, Turkey's central bank has announced an emergency meeting. Currency intervention measures undertaken by the bank last week failed to stop the lira from hitting its lowest level against the dollar. The bank has plowed $2 billion into the foreign exchange market in an attempt to shore up the currency.
In order to protect themselves, of course, they are moving towards foreign assets. So they are increasing their deposits in foreign exchange.
In 2014 alone, the lira has plunged over 7% against the dollar. Increasing interest rates is one of the tools at the central bank's disposal to fix the currency crisis. But it has been under pressure from Turkey's scandal-embroiled government not to raise rates to bolster the lira. The government is concerned that an increase in rates could further impact slowing growth.
Since December the 17th and the political issues, business has dropped off by 80%.
Our sales have dropped by 70% since the 17th of December.
Turkey's latest currency crisis is similar to market turbulence in other emerging markets. According to analysts, Turkey falls into the list of countries vulnerable to tapering measures by the US Federal Reserve as it tightens its monetary policy.
OK, I talked earlier about an emerging market sell-off when it comes to stocks. Let's take a look at how developed markets have been dealing with all of this. Well, in the United States this hour, we're seeing stocks below the flat line. It follows the weakness in emerging markets. It also comes as new US home sales fell 7% in December. Heavy equipment maker Caterpillar is among the stocks that are bucking the trend after upbeat earnings from that company. Earlier in Europe, the indices closed in negative territory as well. The European indices two extending falls after last week and on those concerns about emerging markets. Let's move on now. Here in France, the number of job seekers has risen to another record high. The Labour Ministry says 3.3 million people were looking for work in December. That's an increase of just over 10,000 people. That's not much of an increase, but the French government is under pressure to reduce unemployment. A solid turnaround is yet to materialise, and this evening we're hearing calls from the French Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault to take or to make more efforts, basically, to eat into unemployment. Let's take a look at some other stories in brief. German companies are getting more and more optimistic. Business confidence in the Eurozone's biggest economy hit a 2.5-year high in December. That's according to well-watched Business Climate Index from research institute IFO. The head of the institute says the reading shows that Germany had a promising start to the year. American cable company Liberty Global is beefing up its presence in Europe. It struck a deal to buy Dutch cable provider Ziggo for nearly 10 billion euros. Europe's cable sector is attracting investor interest, and Liberty Global is seen to be competing with names like Vodafone to scale up operations. And Samsung has struck 2 deals to reduce the risk of costly legal disputes. The Korean maker of electronic goods has agreed to cross-license patents with Google. The Korean firm has also agreed to end a long-running patent dispute with Sweden's Ericsson. The deal will see Samsung pay Ericsson around $650 million in an initial royalty payment. A boon for Ericsson, of course, and we've seen its shares trading up throughout the session here in Europe. And with that, I'm going to throw it back to you, Melissa.
Thank you very much indeed, Marcus. 52 minutes.